Kiwis love being outdoors, so why not transform your outdoor living space with a Sunview? With our quality range of stylish pergolas, outdoor blinds and awnings, having a Sunview is like adding a new room to your home, but for a fraction of the price. Enjoy the outdoors all year round with a range of products to suit your needs. Book a free consultation now with Sunview and see the difference.
Well, let's move on now to an issue that is very much abroad. And you would be living under a rock if you did not know that social media has changed the world in the last 15, 20 years. The smartphone, the algorithm, TikTok, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, 8chan, 4chan. There are so many different ways now for people to connect online, but perhaps most concerningly, kids to connect online and just not connect with each other or with their families, but also get connected up by commercial organisations seeking to market them and predators seeking to hurt them. Adults are not, and I am one of them. Adults can get damaged by social media and by smartphones. Many of us do. It creates all sorts of problems. But there is a real feeling abroad in the world that children in particular need to be protected from this. The banning of smartphones in our schools is a very progressive move, which is working well. That's spreading across the United States. But I've been amazed at the traction which a new lobby group called Before 16 has got this year. It was only set up really formally, I think 6-7 weeks ago. Already they've got the patronage of the Prime Minister. There's a private members bill on banning social media for under-16s before the House, and now a full-on coalition or an inquiry into social media for young people. One of the people behind this group, called B416, is Cecilia Robinson, and she joins us by phone now. Cecilia, welcome to the platform. Thank you for taking the time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, you guys have been, in terms of, if you like, off-the-shelf lobby groups, you've been remarkably successful, haven't you?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I think the way that you describe it is a little bit of a tip of the iceberg effect here, because we've actually been doing this for quite some time. And, obviously the public launch was only recently, but we have been working on this problem for quite a long period in advance previously. So, yeah, it has been a bit longer than what's visible.
Okay, how many core people involved in the group?
There's probably about a dozen of us, actually. And the way that it originally started was that I started writing articles about this about 2 years ago for the Herald, feeling increasingly frustrated about the fact
And what's your background, Cecilia?
Well, I'm the CEO of a primary healthcare provider called TEN. So we're the third largest primary healthcare provider in New Zealand. And that kind of feeds into a little bit of the context here, is that, coming into primary care and seeing the level of presentations from people in regards to mental health absolutely horrified and shocked me, to be completely blunt. And in addition to that, I'm raising a teenager, and almost 13-year-olds are seeing day to day kind of the impact of what this means in terms of our young people has been really astounding.
Yeah, okay. What about the rest of the group? What's their background and what brought you together or binds you together?
Yeah, well, look, this is what started happening. So I started writing articles about it about 2 years ago, and I kind of started people collecting as I went. I'd have all types of people reaching out to me from different backgrounds. We've got Dr. Samantha Marsh, who spent the majority of her career being a pioneer, researching the impact of screens on young children, which she started, over a decade ago. You've got the likes of Dr. Manish Deva, who's a pediatrician who works in the space. You've got people from big tech like Anna Curzon and Emily Henlon. We've got legal in terms of our CEO, who's Nicole Green. We've got Anna Mowbray, who only recently joined us about 2 months ago after kind of seeing some of the advocacy going on. We've got Melinda McLean, who's the CEO of Outward Bound. You've got a guy called Blair Knight, who's working on our fundraising side of it. There's a bunch of us, and I'm forgetting people there like Julie, who does a PR and comms for us. It's a big group that we've accumulated over time, and people that are interested in this piece of work and who are, for whatever reason, seeing it themselves.
Quite a powerful powerful group.
Absolutely, yeah.
And look, I'm not one who candy coats perhaps rude questions, but there has been criticism that you all look like very well-heeled soccer mums.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's always a fair criticism, and you've got to take that
Well,
on
it
the chin,
wasn't a
right?
criticism; it was an observation.
Look, it's fair. I think we're all really invested in this, and I think what's not always visible to people is that we've got a huge amount of support from people behind the scenes that are willing to pin their colours to this and who are willing to be part of the conversation as part of Before 16. And the way that the group has been put together has basically been those who have been able to dedicate some time and energy to actually be able to feed into this on a day-to-day basis. And so, we've been really focused on researching, providing research, to key people, being able to really understand what the problem is, and also looking at the global solutions.
And you've got to
this is taking a
understand
lot of
too, the
time.
person in the street might look and say, well, Anna Mowbray's having an argument about whether or not she can helicopter the kids to and from school at the moment. And, someone runs a business that organises au pairs for people. It looks like it's quite rare air if one was going to be classist
let me correct
about.
you there, Sean. Let
What?
me correct you there. Our childcare company that I owned, we sold over a decade ago, maybe 12 years
You're
ago.
not doing the au
Although
pair
it
thing
does-
anymore?
No, I sold that about 12 years ago. So that is
Okay.
a formative part of my past in terms of education, but certainly not where I find myself today. And as the CEO of New Zealand's third largest primary healthcare provider, let me repeat that for you. We've got the third largest enrolled population of people inside TEND. We see what this means on a day-to-day basis and the cost to the taxpayer from a mental health point of view. And that was one of the reasons that, for me, this became a really critical issue. There is absolutely categorically zero way that we as a country can actually shoulder the burden that we're seeing coming through from mental health long term. This is unsustainable. And those are the types of arguments and discussions that you need to have with someone like a Seymour, which we do have, about the fact that if you're not doing something about this, then, having the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff is going to cost this country an extraordinary amount of money that we're just not going to be in a position to be able to fund.
Some would say, okay, let's get into the issue now, because I think it is fundamental. It's really important. 40 years ago, we would have been saying this about, television, and 50 years ago or 60 years ago about the radio or milk bars.
It's not the same thing, though, Sean.
Isn't
it's actually
it?
about...
Isn't it? For this
absolutely
generation,
not.
it's exactly the same thing.
Well, no, it's a completely different form of medium to be receiving,
Well,
content,
television
right?
was a
And
completely different form of medium when it came out. So was radio.
Well, let me compare it to something that's addictive. You look at something like tobacco that is addictive and that causes real public health harm, right? Social media has exactly those attributes. I don't think that there's been any studies into evidencing the damage of, TV use the same way that we're seeing with social media. And as when you open the segment, we're talking about the fact that social media is addictive and uses persuasive
Designed
technology.
to be addictive, isn't it?
Which is designed to be addictive, and actually which is designed to actually monetize and harm our children. And so that's really what the core of this matter is, right? And so that's what we're working on resolving.
Okay. Now, it would appear to me, and I did, and let me just get it out, I did it, and completely unscientific, as is my want. I did a little poll yesterday on X, and here's the question I asked. Do you think a social media ban for under 16 is possible without digital ID? Now, I got 892 people voted, not a bad response. It's still got 54 minutes left. Yes, we can do it without digital ID, 15%. No, 85%. It seems this argument goes to that issue very, very quickly. And a lot of people have got issues about that solution. Does your group say that, A, and let's work through it, A, it is the government's responsibility to do something about this, not parents, and B, the only way you can really make this work is have digital ID for everyone?
No, and I don't think either of those things are actually things that we've actually publicly stated. We've said that government is part of the solution. Parents absolutely have got accountability here as well, although a lot of what we're talking about is actually beyond parents' ability to be able to regulate and monitor themselves, because that is the nature of the design.
If that isn't part of your strategy, why then are you backing, or it appears that you're backing, the private members bill that is about a ban? and would require digital ID.
We're asking for legislation here, and actually I don't think we've publicly gone out to back the members' bill. What we've said is that government needs to actually have solutions to this problem. In fact, when the members' bill was proposed, I was very clear saying that is not good enough. This is not a good enough solution. In terms of when you talk about the technology that underpins this, right, that is a different conversation. The answer is that the technology already exists and is effective, privacy preserving, and is trialled internationally, including in Australia right now. And I can
hang on. Let's back up the bus. Where else, despite apart from communist, dictatorships and totalitarian states, where is a ban on social media for under-16s working or enforced right now?
Kiwis love being outdoors, so why not transform your outdoor living space with a sun view? With our quality range of stylish pergolas, outdoor blinds and awnings, having a sun view is like adding a new room to your home, but for a fraction of the price. Enjoy the outdoors all year round with a range of products to suit your needs. Book a free consultation now with Sunview and see the difference.